I'm Ed, I'm a coach, and that's how I know Joe. And Joe has asked me to be some form of compere, I suppose, this evening. Joe needs no introduction, I'm sure you all know her, but what strikes me about Joe is, well, A, how much she laughs, but then sprinkled between that very loud laughter, but these little pearls and these little drops of wisdom. And it's a heck of a combination, because you disarm someone with laughing and then you slap in this wisdom, and it's a very powerful combination. She's an amazing coach. I have refer friends and family to her, which is a lovely thing to be able to do. She's one of the UK's leading confidence coaches. She's an extraordinary mother. Look at this amazing group in the front. Not only to these three, but also to foster children who are lucky enough to come through her house. And now, she's an author of this amazing book, Flying for Beginners, that we're here to talk about tonight. So, Joe, how does it feel to be a writer?
You know, Ed, hello everyone, thank you for coming. I've wanted to write a book since, for as long as I can remember, probably age 8, 9, and there are unfinished books in my on my computer at home, novels, little books I wrote for the kids when they were little that never got published. But when I started writing about something I'm really passionate about, something I love, something I live and breathe, suddenly a book gets finished and it's on Amazon, and how does it feel? It feels like I've won the Olympics, actually. That's how it feels. For me, this is a real dream come true. I'm just delighted, really chuffed.
And what was the catalyst? Why is this one finished and none of the other ones are? What's the difference here?
The difference with this book, and well, the other books I tried to write were stories, so a very different type of writing. This is semi-autobiographical, so I'm writing about me. I love talking about me. so there's me in here. No, the difference with this is I love my job so much because I love seeing people get better. I love seeing people break free of limiting beliefs and start living with potential. That's why I fostered for all those years, because, you know, everyone deserves a chance. And so writing this was so, in a way it was so easy, because it was the thing I'm passionate about, the thing I love writing about. So I guess that's why it's different. And I think also it started, like the name for the book came to me about 4 years ago, and I thought, I'm going to write a book called Flying for Beginners one day, and I know exactly what it's going to be about. And then it just got to the point where it was a little bit like I had to give birth to it. It wasn't going to go away. It needed to come out. And so there was this intensive 4-month period where I wrote it, and here it is. Here it is.
So for those of you who have not been lucky enough to read the book yet, my synopsis, I suppose, is you talk about these inner voices we all have. Yeah. And that's incredibly liberating, because you're not alone out there with these inner voices. Good news. You help us, well, you helped me when I read it, identify these 3 voices and give them, you talk about the critic, which is the one that if you listen, we all know what the critical voice is, you can't do this, the imposter syndrome. If you listen to that too much, that's really not good for your self-confidence. You talk about the child, which we all have in us, these 3 particularly. And then you talk about the adult and this voice of wisdom. And the moment that your book came alive, I think for me, is when you talk about, you don't just have to be a passenger listening to these voices. You can actually manage them, you can take control of them, you shouldn't reject them. There are lots of theories going back over the years where you reject voices, you reject your inner critic, but you don't take that approach. And then you have these fantastic worksheets all the way through, so I got a lot from it. Is that a fair summary?
That is a fair summary, and it's the culmination of lots of personal work. I started doing about 6 years ago, and work I've done since on myself and with my clients. And the bottom line is, if we listen to the voice in our heads that tells us we can't do something, the likelihood we're not going to do it, or we'll do it with like low energy, we'll be sluggish, and the whole time we won't be enjoying what we're doing because we're thinking, I'm not really sure I should be doing this. Whereas if we listen to that voice, for me it's deeper inside of me that says, have a go, and if it doesn't work out, then there'll be something else, and life's a process and something that an experience, and we can discover as we go along. Then the pressure's off, and our energy's higher, and we enjoy it more, and we're far more likely to have a go at something. And I became incredibly liberated when I did this work myself. And then, I did my coach training, and I applied. This wasn't part of my coach training, but I thought there's a really lovely marriage here between coaching and this work. And I started helping my clients with this stuff, teaching it to them, and they were getting liberated. And I thought, gosh, it's actually really simple. We have a choice. We can believe negativity, or we can believe positivity. Even in the face of things being really difficult, there can still be something we can take out of it, rather than feeling put upon all of the time, I guess. So yeah, that's the book.
You talk about this, you use this word unhooking, and you talk about this amazing moment when of sort of jumping over the precipice, and this very powerful concept of unhooking. Do you want to just talk a bit about that?
Yeah, so I think, as you'll read in the book, I, for years, was absolutely driven by, and I believed, the very negative, very critical voice in my head. And it drove me to perfectionism, and to be very afraid, and seeking approval all the time. And there were lots of negative aspects to believing that voice. But I guess the main problem for me was I was quite afraid all of the time, actually. And for me, the moment when I'd done a lot of this work, and I'd been exploring what was going on inside of me, and when I kind of realised I had a choice, do I believe this voice, or do I give another part of myself a go? It was really terrifying. I mean, I was actually terrified, which now seems mad because it's just a voice in my head, but at the time it was the only thing I listened to. So yeah, when I let go and thought, I'm just going to believe something a bit kinder about myself just for 24 hours, it was so liberating. I thought, oh my God. But I thought I was the only one, obviously. I thought I was the only one to, be in that situation. But I kind of really soon realised that loads of people are believing this negative voice and not living their dreams, or not saying what they need to say, or just being stuck. And I think that voice has got a lot to do with it. Yeah.
So, well, hands up here who's got a self-help book on their shelf. Ooh, you're going to sell some books tonight. So we've all got, and particularly you and I have got probably more than most.
Library.
A library which clearly is only reference, not personal use. Joe, why should this group and the group out there in the world and the group on Amazon buy the book? Why is this different?
I think this is different for probably two reasons. I think firstly, it's short, sharp and to the point. Lots of self-help books, of which I've got many and I love, but they are very lengthy. And I wanted to write something that people could pick up, apply and put down quite quickly. So that would be one reason it's different. Another reason it's different is I encourage people, my clients and people who read the book, to actually pay attention to that critical voice and to allow it to have a part in your life. Not to do what it says, not to believe everything, but to allow it a voice. Because what I've learned about that voice is it wants to be heard. Once it's heard, it's like, oh, okay, I've been heard, I can shut up now. Whereas when we're pushing it away all of the time or doing what it says, it's a bit like a child, sorry girls, when they're about 4, at the checkout, wanting sweets. And if you just ignore the child or push the child away, they're going to keep asking for sweets. If you get down and say, the reason you can't have sweets is blah, 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 they're more likely to shut up. But in the same way, you know, and also that voice has a lot to tell us about our motivations. You know, when I realised that that voice was driving me with fear, I needed to work out what I was scared of and why I was scared. So it was a real window into what was really going on for me. And I guess the other reason my book's different is I do talk a lot about myself and my experience, and I'm not a totally open book in the book because, you know, I have a private life, but I am open about a lot of the stuff I've struggled with, because for me that's how I help people.
And that I wanted to sort of come on to talk about that, because it's, for me, that was one of the massive differentiators from a lot of what I read, which can be quite academic and quite dry and quite scientific, or you go to the other extreme and it can be completely too personal and too, you strike this incredible balance. And I know just from talking to you and talking about our work that you bring a lot of yourself to your coaching as well. Is that hard? Was it hard to put all that on paper? And I mean, you know, this group in the world are going to read it.
Yeah. You know, if you'd asked me that question 5 years ago, yes, it would have been hard, because everything I was struggling with, I had a shame attachment to. I felt ashamed that I was going through this stuff. I should be doing better, and I should not be feeling this way, and you know, I should be thinner, or I should rah rah rah. Having done this work, I am not ashamed of having had struggles in life, because we all have. We pretend we haven't, but we all have. And the only way, not the only way, but one of the key ways I help my clients is by being really real, because then people feel that they're able to have an honest conversation with me, because I'm not going to judge them. I've probably been there, I've probably done worse myself, or thought worse, or I've had a client in a similar situation. I don't share my stuff to burden anyone, because it's stuff that I've worked through. But for me, it provides that really genuine connection. And for me, genuine connection is the magic. That's where the magic happens with my kids, with my friends, with my clients. Because then change happens. If you've got that genuine connection where you think, yes, I know what you're going through, you know, empathy breeds change. So, no, it's not hard to answer your question. It's who I am, Ed. So, you know, I guess I've reached the point where there really isn't anything to hide.
Well, I think we're very fortunate, very lucky to have it written down. I genuinely believe it puts the book apart, and as you say, that empathy and ability to understand what you're going through takes you on a journey. So I'm going to open up to your questions in a minute, but a couple more just to finish with, and I know you've got some thank yous to give. What happens now? You've achieved this lifelong ambition. The book is out, and I guess the two-part question. One is, how has writing this changed the work you do, and maybe changed your life in a more general way, and then what happens now?
Okay. So I think, I guess in a way, as a coach, I feel more confident because I've written a book, which is a bit crazy because I'm a confidence coach, but it feels like I've reached a new level. To have this out, and you know, on Amazon, and it's getting great reviews, and you know, that's an amazing feeling. I suppose it's changed how I work in that I'm already saying to clients before they come for sessions, get the book, read the book, because it will save us. You know, we could spend 2 or 3 sessions doing this, or you could read the book, come and we'll hit the ground running. So that's, you know, that's great. What next? Well, I've already got another book that I'm working on up here, because it's weird. It's a bit like having children. Once you've had one, you kind of want more. And I've got 3 beautiful kids, so I've got to have at least 3 books, I guess. And also, what next? I just want. So I want to help as many people as I can. I want to do as much work as I can. But I also want to spend as much time with my girls as I can, so that's that balance. This book is also available online as a course, so I guess I'll be doing some work, you know, kind of getting those 2 out together. I'm open to what comes as well, Ed. You know, I've learned that and there's some people in the room who will know exactly what I'm talking about, if I cling on too tightly to the outcome, I'm often disappointed. If I just set something in motion and see where it goes and do my best, I'll be amazed at what comes back. You know, I sat down 2 years ago for 4 months and just downloaded my head onto a Word document, and now I have a book. So, you know, sometimes we just have to take some steps and trust in the process.
Well, I think, you know, your journey to date is very clear in the book, and I'm convinced the book sets you in a different journey going forwards, and one that I think is expanding and growing and exponentially because this work is now out there.
It's a pleasure.